Listen.
The core whites are whomever they are. That's why I say it's a mystery.
Oh.
They are, I put it in the textbook, the white supremacists of this planet are the most powerful people on the planet. And they are the most familiar mystery on the planet. What do I mean by familiar mystery? That's a term that I use in the textbook, meaning you're looking at them all the time, but you don't know who they are. That goes to show you how great they are at being magicians. They'll say, in fact, you have white people, and I've said at meetings where they have said it outright, oh, I'm not really white, I'm part Indian, I'm part Cherokee. Like Cherokee is a color, like Creek or Apache is a color. But they will say it with a straight face. And everybody will say, the black people who are present will say, oh, okay, all right, that's different. Rather than say, wait a minute, there's no such thing as part white. Wait a minute. There is no such thing, person, as part white. You're either white or you're not. So who are you, sir? Who are you, ma'am? Don't come to me with that part white. There's no such person as that. It doesn't exist. He or she does not exist. Now, are you trying to confuse me or what? Because there is no such person as what you're talking about. You cannot be part white. It's impossible. And are you saying, he said, well, I didn't say that I was part white. I said that I was part Cherokee Indian, but I'm a white man. More confusion.
I know black.
See, so in answer to what the gentleman is saying, he's saying he's still confused. You better believe you are. Because I'm explaining to you how they do it. They will say anything, and you will wind up being the only person confused.
I know black.
So how do you tell who is white and who's not? You have to watch them very closely and see if they, under all circumstances, and that means you have to really watch that individual person, the way they move about in all 9 areas of activity, and see if they can go anywhere and be accepted as white. That's the only criteria you can use in answer to your question, because that's the only criteria I can use. I can say, oh, well, you know, Pedro Gonzalez,
I know black.
you say that you're a white man. Well, that's what you say, and you might believe that, okay? But I will see how everything works for you or against you when you're around what I would call some sure enough white people. Yes, we need a code for everything. The white supremacists, if people will permit me to use that term, because I'm not going to move from it. I've had all kinds of suggestions down through the decades about, well, stop saying white supremacy. And I'm going to say, no, I'm going to say it because it works. When you actually use it, it works. You may not think that it works, but it works. White people don't like that term, even though they are the ones that gave it to me. I never heard this term, white supremacy, until I heard it from white people. They were bragging about the use of it. But I stick with what they're bragging about, because one thing, it's true, okay? Supreme just means a person can tell me what to do, and I don't know what to do about it, and I don't want to do it. But I still have to do it, because I don't know what to do about it. That's all supreme means. Okay, and if you base that on being white, and you're able to pull it off, then that's true. Now, I say in order to solve a problem, you first have to recognize it is a problem, even though the problem is more powerful than I am. I can't walk around in jail saying I'm not a prisoner because it makes me feel better. Many black people want to feel better instantly. That is natural. I fully understand that. But if you're a prisoner of war and you decide while you're a prisoner, you know what? I'm going to stop calling myself a prisoner. I'm going to say that I'm a king. I ain't no prisoner. I'm a king. And that warden, he's the prisoner. Look, he's on the other side of the bars. See, so he's my prisoner. I got him in jail. That's why he's here. He's right here with me. And so that makes me feel better. Sure, that's a big temptation, but that doesn't motivate you to tear down them prison walls. See what I mean? Because that's what I'm trying to get to do. Yes. And that takes some courage, and that takes admission of the truth that we have been beaten. We're not just walking around doing whatever we want to do, the black people of this planet. We have already been beaten. But we need to get some adrenaline going to fight against the thing that has conquered us, because it's what? Evil, and it needs to be replaced. We're not just trying to survive in this system. No, we are trying to dismantle the entire system, or we should be. And anytime that's not our objective, then we have no business doing anything. Well, according to what I've written in the code book, black people are not qualified to celebrate anything. Prisoners are not in a celebratory condition. Black people are prisoners of war. The non-white people of the planet in the system of white supremacy were born in captivity. We're still born in captivity, all of us. Everybody of color on the planet is born in captivity. Captivity to whom? To racist man and racist woman, the white supremacists of this planet. You're born inside of their prison because they dictate what you do in all 9 areas of activity and what you don't do. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. They dictate this to all of the non-white people on the planet. Mm-hmm. And so you have to think, speak, and act according to what they allow you to do. So you're in prison. And so you're not, prisoners are not qualified. They can go ahead and do it, but you're not qualified to celebrate anything. But the white supremacists love for their prisoners to celebrate everything, including being in prison. Celebrate that.
Yeah.
Okay? Have fun. Get out there in the prison yard, and I mean, hey, just turn flips and sing and dance and play banjo. Slaves are always encouraged to do this.
To act a fool.
Entertain yourselves. Mm-hmm. Entertain yourselves until you drop. Mm-hmm. But just be back on that job come Monday.
Yeah.
All right? See, the white supremacists, they confuse the minds of people all over the world so that everybody's trying to figure out, well, if I'm a light-skinned black person, what color am I? But I am still black. If who says that I'm black? If the white supremacists say that you're black, that's who. Nobody else. Nobody else can make that determination. They decide. They say that these are the brown people. You have an expression now that's been going on for some time. Black people and brown people. Most black people are brown. See how they do the confusion? But it's one thing that's not confused. And you can look at any chart of the races, any census of the so-called races and whatnot. White is the only one that's not confused. Stop and think about it. White is the only one that's not confused. When you say that, one size fits all. That's all you have to be. Not white, semi-Mexican, white Indian, white, Calcuttian, or whatnot. No, just white. Everybody understands what that means. Everybody understands what white means. But when you start talking about part Japanese, part Jewish, or something like that, nobody knows what that means. Well, according to what I've written in the code book, black people are not qualified to celebrate anything. Prisoners are not in a celebratory condition. Black people are prisoners of war. The non-white people of the planet in the system of white supremacy were born in captivity. We're still born in captivity, all of us. Everybody of color on the planet is born in captivity. Captivity to whom? To racist man and racist woman, the white supremacists of this planet. You're born inside of their prison because they dictate what you do in all 9 areas of activity and what you don't do. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. They dictate this to all of the non-white people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to think, speak, and act according to what they allow you to do. So you're in prison. And so you're not, prisoners are not qualified. They can go ahead and do it, but you're not qualified to celebrate anything. But the white supremacists love for their prisoners to celebrate everything, including being in prison. Celebrate that.
Yeah.
Okay? Have fun. Get out there in the prison yard, and I mean, hey, just turn flips and sing and dance and play banjo. Slaves are always encouraged to do this. Entertain yourselves. Entertain yourselves until you drop. But just be back on that job come Monday.
Yeah.
All right? All that is just like what prisoners do. What do prisoners do? I mean, every chance they get walking around in the prison yard, they start a riot. They fight each other. They tear up everything around each other. And then they have to do what? Wimp out and go back to their cells. And then the prison masters say, okay, you had your little fun now. Now get back in your little cell. I'm going to give you all solitary confinement. I'm going to punish you. But you will learn, because I'm going to cut off everybody's food now. Like they do when we riot. They cut off jobs. They cut off food. We burn up the neighborhood and whatnot. And then we sit and look at the ashes like in the movie Do the Right Thing. And then we suddenly realize we can't build nothing. And not even allowed to build nothing. So then, now what do? You walk 16 blocks to get a quart of milk for grandma and stand in line arguing with other black people about who got there first. And then even start a fight about that with other black people. Now, this is all by design, folks. The white supremacists know what we are going to do before we do it. Why? Because they have plans for every black person on this planet. And they make plans 10, 15, 50 years ahead. And black people don't have a plan for what they're going to do in the next 2 weeks. And that's the truth. We have to be true, tell ourselves the truth. Because you can't straighten out anything without telling yourself the truth about your own flaws and your own weaknesses. And be able to admit that when somebody is stronger than you or smarter than you, that you've been beaten down and you've been outsmarted. And so far, that is the plight of black people worldwide, not just in South Side and West Side Chicago, but everywhere in the world. Johannesburg, Brazil, you name it. Anywhere you find people of color. And the darker they are, the more oppressed they are. And the more they are prone to turn on each other. Why? That's logical. I mean, you're in the prison yard. There's nobody in the prison yard but other prisoners. You're on the slave ship. There's nobody on the slave ship below deck but other slaves. So what do? You start a fight. All people do that. White people would do that if just a bunch of them on a boxcar heading to the death camp. And then the food runs out. What else are they going to do? Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work on the internet that have been presented, and that it pretty well embellishes what I have been trying to say in my textbooks. And to the extent that it does that, well, that has been from what I understand, some people reported to me A plus, because they didn't understand what I had written very well, but when they saw those cartoons that just repeated what I was saying and attaching my name to it, and came right out of the book, the material did, they say that they better understood it. And I can understand that because people are kind of visual, particularly in the year 2021 now, more visual than ever.